Section 3 of Write It Right. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Philippa Jevons. Write It Right by Ambrose, Bierce. Section 3. Fail. He failed to note the hour. That implies that he tried to note it but did not succeed. Failure carries always the sense of endeavour. Where there has been no endeavour, there is no failure. A falling stone cannot fail to strike you, for it does not try. But a marksman firing at you may fail to hit you, and I hope he always will. Favour for resemble. The child favours its father. Feel of for feel. The doctor felt of the patient's head. Smell of and taste of are incorrect too. Feminine for female. A feminine member of the club. Feminine refers not to sex proper, but to gender, which may be defined as the sex of words. The same is true of masculine. Fetch for bring. Fetching includes not only bringing, but going to get, going for and returning with. You may bring what you did not go for. Finances for wealth or pecuniary resources. Financial for pecuniary. His financial reward. He is financially responsible, and so forth. Firstly. If this word could mean anything, it would mean first like, whatever that might mean. The ordinal numbers should have no adverbial form. Firstly, secondly, and the rest are words without meaning. Fix. This is in America a word of all work, most frequently meaning repair or prepare. Do not so use it. Forebears, F-O-R-E-B-E-A-R-S, for ancestors. The word is sometimes spelled F-O-R-B-E-A-R-S, a worse spelling than the other, but not much. If used at all, it should be spelt F-O-R-E-B-E-E-R-S, for it means those who have been before. A forebeer is one who fore was. Considered in any way, it is a senseless word. Forecasted. For this abominable word we are indebted to the Weather Bureau. At least it was not sent upon us until that affliction was with us. Let us hope that it may some day be losted from the language. Former and latter. Indicating the first and the second of things previously named, these words are unobjectionable, if not too far removed from the names that they stand for. If they are, they confuse, for the reader has to look back to the names. Use them sparingly. Funeral obsequies. Tautological. Say obsequies. The word is now used in none but a funereal sense. Fully for definitively or finally. After many preliminary examinations, he was fully committed for trial. The adverb is meaningless. A defendant is never partly committed for trial. This is a solecism to which lawyers are addicted, and sometimes they have been heard to say fullied. Funds for money. He was out of funds. Funds are not money in general, but sums of money or credit available for particular purposes. Furnish for provide or supply. Taxation furnished the money. A pauper may furnish a house if someone will provide the furniture or the money to buy it. His flight furnishes a presumption of guilt. It supplies it. Generally for usually. The winds are generally high. A fool is generally vain. This misuse of the word appears to come of abbreviating. Generally speaking, the weather is bad. A fool, to speak generally, is vain. Gent for gentleman. Vulgar exceedingly. Genteel. This word, meaning polite or well-mannered, was once in better repute than it is now, and its noun, gentility, is still not infrequently found in the work of good writers. Genteel is most often used by those who write, as the Scotchman of the anecdote joked, with difficulty. Gentleman. It is not possible to teach the correct use of this overworked word. One must be bred to it. Everybody knows that it is not synonymous with man, but among the genteel, and those ambitious to be thought genteel, it is commonly so used in discourse too formal for the word gent. To use the word gentleman correctly, be one. Genuine for authentic or veritable, a genuine document, a genuine surprise, and the like. Given. The soldier was given a rifle. What was given is the rifle, not the soldier. The house was given a coating, of paint. Nothing can be given anything. Goatee. In this country, goatee is frequently used for a tuft of beard on the point of the chin, what is sometimes called an imperial, apparently because the late Emperor Napoleon III wore his beard so. His Majesty the Goat is graciously pleased to wear his beard beneath the chin. Got married for married. If this is correct, we should say also got dead for died. One expression is as good as the other. Gotten for got. This has gone out of good use, though in such compounded words as begotten and misbegotten it persists respectably. Graduated for was graduated. Gratuitous for unwarranted. A gratuitous assertion. Gratuitous means without cost. Gruelling. Used chiefly by newspaper reporters, as he was subjected to a gruelling cross-examination. It was gruelling weather. Probably a corruption of grilling. Gubernatorial. Eschew it. It is not English, is needless and bombastic. Leave it to those who call a political office a chair. Gubernatorial chair is good enough for them. So is hanging. Had better for would better. This is not defensible as an idiom, as those who always used it before their attention was directed to it take the trouble to point out. It comes of such contractions as he'd for he would, I'd for I would. These clipped words are erroneously restored as he had, I had. So we have such monstrosities as he had better beware, I had better go. Hail for come. He hails from Chicago. This is sea speech, and comes from the custom of hailing passing ships. It will not do for serious discourse. Have got for have. I have got a good horse. Directs attention rather to the act of getting than to the state of having, and represents the capture as recently completed. Head over heels. A transposition of words hardly less surprising than, to the person most concerned, the mischance that it fails to describe. What is meant is heels over head. Healthy for wholesome. A healthy climate, a healthy occupation. Only a living thing can be healthy. Helpmeet for helpmate. In Genesis, Adam's wife is called an help meet for him, that is, fit for him. The ridiculous word appears to have had no other origin. Hereafter for henceforth. Hereafter means at some time in the future, henceforth always in the future. The penitent who promises to be good hereafter commits himself to the performance of a single good act, not to a course of good conduct. Honeymoon. Moon here means month, so it is incorrect to say a week's honeymoon, or their honeymoon lasted a year. Horseflesh for horses. A singularly senseless and disagreeable word, which, when used as it commonly is with reference to hippophilism, savours rather more of the spit than of the spirit. Humans as a noun. We have no single word having the general yet limited meaning that this is sometimes used to express, a meaning corresponding to that of the word animals, as the word men would if it included women and children. But there is time enough to use two words. Hung for hanged. A bell or a curtain is hung, but a man is hanged. Hung is the junior form of the participle, and is now used for everything but man. Perhaps it is our reverence for the custom of hanging men that sacredly preserves the elder form, as some even of the most zealous American spelling reformers still respect the U in saviour. Hurry for haste and hasten. To hurry is to hasten in a more or less disorderly manner. Hurry is misused also in another sense. There is no hurry, meaning There is no reason for haste. Hurt for harm. It does no hurt. To be hurt is to feel pain, but one may be harmed without knowing it. To spank a child or flout a fool hurts without harming. Idea for thought, purpose, expectation, etc. I had no idea that it was so cold. When he went abroad, it was with no idea of remaining. Identified with. He is closely identified with the temperance movement. Say connected. Ilk for kind. Men of that ilk. This Scotch word has a narrowly limited and specific meaning. It relates to an ancestral estate having the same name as the person spoken of. MacDonald of that ilk means MacDonald of MacDonald. The phrase quoted above is without meaning. Illy for ill. There is no such word as illy, for ill itself is an adverb. Imaginary line. The adjective is needless. Geometrically, every line is imaginary. Its graphic representation is a mark. True, the textbooks say draw a line, but in a mathematical sense the line already exists. The drawing only makes its course visible. In for into. He was put in jail. He went in the house. A man may be in jail or be in a house, but when the act of entrance, the movement of something from the outside to the inside of another thing, is related, the correct word is into, if the latter thing is named. Inaugurate for begin, establish, etc. Inauguration implies some degree of formality and ceremony. Incumbent for obligatory. It was incumbent upon me to relieve him. Infelicitous and work-worn. Say, it was my duty, or, if enamoured of that particular metaphor, it lay upon me. Individual. As a noun, this word means something that cannot be considered as divided, a unit. But it is incorrect to call a man, woman, or child an individual, except with reference to mankind, to society, or to a class of persons. It will not do to say, an individual stood in the street, when no mention nor allusion has been made, nor is going to be made, to some aggregate of individuals considered as a whole. Endorse. See endorse. Insane asylum. Obviously, an asylum cannot be unsound in mind. Say, asylum for the insane. In spite of. In most instances, it is better to say despite. Inside of. Omit the preposition. Insignificant for trivial or small. Insignificant means not signifying anything, and should be used only in contrast expressed or implied with something that is important for what it implies. The bear's tail may be insignificant to a naturalist tracing the animal's descent from an earlier species, but to the rest of us, not concerned with the matter, it is merely small. Insoluble for unsolvable. Use the former word for material substances, the latter for problems. Inst, prox, ult. These abbreviations of instante mense, in the present month, proximo mense, in the next month, and ultimo mense, in the last month, are serviceable enough in commercial correspondence, but, like am, pm, and many other contractions of Latin words, could profitably be spared from literature. Integrity for honesty. The word means entireness, wholeness. It may be rightly used to affirm possession of all the virtues, that is, unity of moral character. Involve for entail. Proof of the charges will involve his dismissal. Not at all, it will entail it. To involve is literally to enfold, not to bring about nor cause to ensue. An unofficial investigation, for example, may involve character and reputation, but the ultimate consequence is entailed. A question, in the parliamentary sense, may involve a principle. Its settlement, one way or another, may entail expense or injury to interests. An act may involve one's honour and entail disgrace. It for so. Going into the lion's cage is dangerous. You should not do it. Do so is the better expression, as a rule, For the word it is a pronoun meaning a thing or object, and therefore incapable of being done. Colloquially, we may say do it, or do this, or do that, but in serious written discourse greater precision is desirable, and is better obtained, in most cases, by use of the adverb. Item for brief article. Commonly used of a narrative in a newspaper. Item connotes an aggregate of which it is a unit, one thing of many. Hence it suggests more than we may wish to direct attention to. Jackies for sailors. Vulgar and especially offensive to seamen. Jeopardize for imperil or endanger. The correct word is jeopard, but in any case there is no need for anything so far-fetched and stilted. Juncture. Juncture means a joining, a junction. Its use to signify a time, however critical a time, is absurd. At this juncture the woman screamed. In reading that account of it, we screamed too. Just exactly. Nothing is gained in strength nor precision by this kind of pleonasm. Omit just. Juvenile for child. This needless use of the adjective for the noun is probably supposed to be humorous, like canine for dog, optic for eye, anatomy for body, and the like. Happily, the offence is not very common. End of section 3.